Hey everybody, Robert Chesson here, Landlord Law Firm with your November edition of the Landlord Advocate Live. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what I refer to as the pre-approval process. Not something that you want to do, and I'll tell you why, but we've gotten a couple of calls over the last few weeks that prompted this topic, and that's the topic is really the pre-approval when you're doing like a site tour. I've had several people call in and say, hey, we've been on a tour with somebody. They start asking us questions. They start feeding us their history. And they say, hey, do you think we'll get approved? I'm sure this happens a lot. Some of the questions that came in, however, suggest that the responses that are going out on those tours may be something we need to pay attention to. First and foremost, give the tour to everybody just like you would, and if they want to provide information to you, share their history, share their background, by all means, let them do so in the midst of your small talk and whatnot. It's when they start asking questions like, do you think I'll get approved? Do you take this kind of background? Do you take this kind of credit history and that sort of stuff? That you run some risk depending on how you answer the question. And so the real topic for today is to try to shy you away from the possibility of putting yourself in a difficult situation when somebody's asking those questions. Ultimately, they're trying to figure out whether or not they should apply, perhaps pay an application fee, whatever the case might be. The bottom line is the answer is we take all applications. Those get considered through our standard process, and if you're approved, great. If you're not, you'll be notified. That's really the simple answer, and that's really the simple solution to what could otherwise create some potential fair housing and other kind of complications. If for some reason the answers that you give are while well intended and intended to be friendly and kind and assist the people that you're discussing these things with, but can ultimately be used against you or potentially used against you if somebody wants to turn them into a fair housing claim. As an example, a recent conversation that came into our office was one about somebody who was on a tour, and the question came up, well, I've got a criminal background. And apparently the applicant or potential applicant was very forthcoming in terms of their criminal history. And as it turns out, the facts that they revealed, if they were true, ultimately would have disqualified them from acceptance for the unit. The problem was the applicant wanted to know, or the potential applicant wanted to know, hey, should I even apply? The bottom line answer to that question is we take everybody's application. We'd love to have your application. We'd love to consider you for residency here in our community. Please fill out the application and we'll put it through the standard process. Please try not to answer those questions on the fly, live, while you're doing something else with that particular applicant. That is nothing but a potential minefield of fair housing issues, and you really want to try to avoid those at all costs. So don't do any pre-approval work while you're on tours. Collect as much data as you can, and the value of that data ultimately comes down to when you actually consider the application. If the application doesn't match the information that they shared with you on the walk or the tour, ask them about it. Say, hey, when we were on the tour, you said XYZ. I don't see that here on the application. Would you like to update your application? Other than that, it's just information for you to have, to consider in the process, but you accept their application and you put them through whatever scrutiny, whatever screening you would otherwise apply to anybody else on the property. That's it for the November edition of our Landlord Advocate Live. Hope that was helpful. We look forward to seeing you in December. And a quick announcement before we sign off. As you may know, the Connecticut Apartment Association Trade Show is coming up on November 13th. Between now and then, you will get a special edition of the Landlord Advocate Live, where we will be announcing a pre-show contest for anybody who wants to get involved in that. in advance of the trade show. So keep an eye out here for the next Landlord Advocate Live special edition, dealing with the Connecticut Apartment Association Trade Show pre-show contest. Looking forward to seeing you at the show. If you're not already signed up, we still have space available, so please get yourself registered so we can see you at the trade show on the 13th. Have a great day.